Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Here we're going to have a look at the Banter Blitz matchup between Wesley So and Sam Shankland. Here you can see the final table. Wesley So winning the match, 5.5, 2.5. But in this video, I want to have a look at a couple of games. One victory by both players. In this game, Wesley So has white, Sam Shankland has black. D4, D5, knight f3, knight f6. Bishop f4, c5. So we have a London system, early strike with c5, e3 and knight c6. Knight d2 and queen b6, hitting the b2 pawn early because the bishop is out on f4. And here, this is the new London theory. You take on c5. Black chooses to grab the b2 pawn. So it's pawn for pawn. White has doubled c-pawns, but black has used time with his queen to go pawn grabbing. Rook b1, queen c3. Don't want to grab another pawn. It's a bit too risky. Because bishop b5, let's play g6, which is how Sam played in the game. Knight b3, bishop g7, and rook a1. What a cool idea. Watch this. The queen gets trapped. Rook a1, queen b2, bishop e5. And using the pin from the bishop on b5, this bishop traps the queen. So rook b1, queen c3. Let's just park the queen on this square. And you have gone pawn grabbing. You got the one on b2. Now it's time to go after the one on c5. Or do you grab it? Bishop b5, g6, as played in the game by Sam. Queen takes c5, maybe a bit too risky to grab yet another pawn. Castle, g6, c4, this is the move. And if you play a normal move like bishop g7, you're in trouble already with knight b3. See how dangerous it gets really quickly. If you go queen b6, completely lost after knight d4, because if you castle, bishop c6, and we have a discovered attack on the queen. So I just wanted to show you why it's very important you just don't go pawn grabbing. Queen c3, bishop b5, and now g6. Castle, bishop g7. So this is very different from the other line, because notice the queen is on c3, the pawn's on c2, and it cannot go forward. Knight b3. Not only is white saying I'm now protecting my c5 pawn, but this knight can come to d4. Castle, and here Wesley played knight fd4. Perhaps a better move was bishop takes c6. Giving up the bishop pair voluntarily. Always a difficult decision, because after take you can go bishop e5. Once again, flushing out the queen, and then queen d4, and then you can play from here. I don't think black should trade queens. Maybe black should trade on his own terms, so you protect your queen. And then play goes on. The bishop can come out to a6. The knight would love to go to e4. Not at the moment, because queen and bishop face the bishop on g7. So, back to the game. Knight fd4 played. And e5, Sam just strikes in the center. And Sam plays with such power, such initiative in his game. I'm glad I picked this victory. Very nice how he destroyed Wesley in this London system. So e5 attacks both minor pieces. So knight c6, let's take back. Both bishops are attacked. Bishop c6 and exchange sacrifice. I love it. It's always great to sacrifice the exchange because you get such activity. E takes f4, bishop takes rook, and bishop a6. So bishop attacks rook, rook attacks bishop. So Wesley saves it with bishop d5, and now f takes e3. Wesley retreats the bishop, keeping it, and now within 10 seconds, I couldn't believe the amazing move Sam now played. And I want you to make e2 work. So pause the video. Can you play a move where you're like distracting the bishop on f3, so then e2 is possible? So I'll give you 5 seconds. The move is knight e4, so listening to the commentary, when played, Wesley was saying, who on earth plays knight e4 in this position? And I also listened to Sam's commentary, because I just wanted to hear what they both said in this position. And Sam, within 10 seconds, he just trusted his intuition and went for knight e4. So bishop e2 was played, allowing e takes f2 check. There was a great defensive try with queen e1. Got to flush the black queen out because it's so dangerous. So queen e1 and now knight d2. Some impossible moves here. Notice the knight and bishop are attacking the rook on f1. So if we grab it, knight d2, e d2. Very weird. This pawn was here, by the way. It went to f4 to e3 to d2. Now it's a passed pawn on d2. The queen moves and then take, and then the game goes on here. Black is better with a dangerous passed pawn. So bishop e2. E takes f2 check, rook takes, queen e3, queen f1, and knight takes f2. Bishop takes a6. Can't play queen takes knight because after queen e2 you're just a piece down. You are just a bishop down. Bishop takes a6, knight g4 check, king h1, and no way is he going to go for a draw. Going to play for a win. Let's go bishop e5. Queen e2, trying to get queens off, but this allows the amazing queen h6. So you can see queen, knight and bishop all attack the h2 pawn. So you've got 3 attackers, and that is always a great sign. A great defensive move would have been queen f3 because then you attack the queen and knight. So if you go queen h6, now h3. The queen is a bit closer to the action. Also, there's a big difference. You may be asking why not play h3 before. Queen e2, queen h6. If you go h3, then queen f4. And we can see the difference. Queen is going to go for mate. Notice in the other line, the queen was on f3, so it stops the queen going to f4. So g3 was played. Bishop takes g3 using the pin on the h-file. Rook g1, and here knight f2 check, the winning move. And Sam, he was just rattling off this option, knight f2 check, and white's position will collapse. King g2, queen h3 check, even better than queen takes h2. Flushing the king out, bishop h4 check. I love it. Look at all the red arrows. They show all the squares white cannot go to. So if white goes forward, he will lose the queen. So if king f4, queen f5 check, king e3, and now rook e8 check, winning the queen. So in the game, Wesley blocked with rook g3, so we take it, and let's go queen f5 check, king goes back, knight g4, game over. Let's just see the rest. Bishop d3, queen h5, coming in to h2. Later, c6, rook c8, let's just put a stop to that. Notice you don't want to go queen h2 check because the king can actually come out. If white was forced to go back, then that is a nice mating pattern. All squares covered, g2 covered by the queen, this knight covers f2. So rook c8, Wesley goes back, king g1, and rook takes e6. And here white resigned. I love it after rook takes e6 because this capture is still based on a tactic. If we played on queen e8 check, attacking king and rook, king moves out the way, but there's no time to take the rook. Queen h2 check, king f1, and mate on f2. So that is a brilliant victory by Sam in this match. Now we're going to check out Wesley So's brilliant victory.